Hi, I'm Rich. This is my channel, RMX Models. So, for those of you who were here for the Dreadnought playlist and then saw that I've kind of abruptly canceled it, now I can go ahead and tell you a bit more of why. So, I'm not getting into the specifics of the bad news that my family friend got. He's my father-in-law. But what I am going to say is that he's really into wooden model ships. So I figured, it'd be a really nice thing of me to build him one. So I got this little kit, the Mamoli Lexington. Mamoli is the company, Lexington's the ship. And it's 1/100th scale. Oh, cool, it's from the Czech Republic. Neat. It's a division of Duesk Ship Kits Company. And like all good things in life, it has a Proposition 65 warning. Apparently, wood dust gives you cancer in California. I'm sorry. I laugh every time I see a Proposition 65 warning. I shouldn't. I should want to choose different products that don't give people cancer. Pencils, California. Think about it. I'm sorry. I can't keep a straight face. Alright, so yes. Anyways, so the reason this video is short is because we had kind of ordered this earlier, in the beginning of these 2 weeks of these spacing of these videos. And it took over a week to get here. Just a little bit way longer than what I expected, which was 2-day shipping. And I was going to originally do a bit of filming where I made some tools waiting for this thing, and griped and whined about the shipping company. What kinds of tools? Well, really just one, which was the phone case that I'd mentioned. Excuse me. This is the bottom piece of it. The top piece of it came out pretty good. I actually did hold my phone in my little USB hub, but then I found a little quirk of the design, either of the hub or the phone, where I plug in USB hub. I can't use my phone as a phone. Alright, so enough of that silliness. How would I get to the part where I start gluing things into sanding them down, eh? Alright, here we go. And perhaps by gluing and sanding them down, I mean take a look at the box and get some things ready. So, yeah, this is another aside. I was originally going to, when I did the tool thing for this video, call it Tools for a Tool. And I guess the universe has decided to scream very loudly at me this week, who's the tool now? So there I am, I'm cutting out the big keel piece. Apparently it's got a couple other pieces you put on as well. I'm not sure quite when I was, supposed to add them in. But as you can see, I'm using these magnet pieces to try and get it nice and lined up so I can glue everything in easily. And eventually settling on something not quite holding it in perfectly, but holding it in well enough to do the job. And then I go ahead and I cut out the other bits. I number them first because they're not numbered. I'm going to want to know which one goes where. So trying to number them where it's easy to either sand away the number after or just to hide it with something else. And now that I've gone and done that, I went and I found a better tool than my scalpel for cutting these out, which is a little handsaw. Not as good as a handsaw as I used to have access to. I'm going to try to find those again because they were great. But, yeah, anyways. So there I go, doing more and more cuts, cutting through all the little, little tabs, you could say, that hold these pieces into the laser cut board. And after cutting out some of that, some of those pieces, not all of them, but the ones for this particular step, I put them all in, try to get them all aligned. And I'm thinking here's where I make my first mistake. I should have put in that deck piece that it had as a kind of, jig to, make sure everything was dummied in, if you will. And then I should have glued things in place. I tried to make everything nice and as straight as I could by eye. That wasn't a great idea, I guess. It wasn't truly horrible, but it wasn't a great idea. Oh well, live, learn, have lots of regrets. Watch the glue as it goes back down in front of the camera in like the worst place you've put it. Oh well. So there I go. Now I'm just using the wood glue to go ahead and put things in. So, yeah, I got wood glue and I also got some T-pins for this. These are pins that have like a kind of bent up bit of wire to, you know, make them easier to pull out of stuff. Figured that'd be good for when I did planking or whatnot. I really needed to find a better place to put that glue. At least I'm putting it in some places a little better after some of this. But yeah, there I go, putting it all in. That's the big bit of assembly this week, other than having done some sanding. So what I'm also learning is that these things take for ages to dry. But there I go, make sure everything looks level. And then this is the next day, everything's glued in. So now I go ahead and start trying to find where I want to put things. And the first thing is, hey, this thing says take the piece 10 that I had and go ahead and cut it out, make sure it's at a good position, and then like sand it down on some of its ends. So that's what I do next, and I do it with some rather not gritty sandpaper, which I'm about to mention. And then after that little bit of sandpaper difficulty, I actually, the day after all that, I go ahead and I buy good sandpaper. But in the meantime, here I am trying to make sense of this piece 10 thing here. Alright. So that last little bit of that bit I'm going to put in time lapse there was me kind of looking at this, looking at that mill, and realizing this would totally call for the creation of some kind of angle adjusting fixture to hold this piece of wood down that I could, you know, mill against it. You know, some kind of table angle, if you will. But that would require I do some 3D printing, which is okay. I'm fine with the 3D printer, actually. It printed that case for the phone. This is part of it, which printed great. Then the other part, as it got higher, it started getting this wobbly thing going on. I'm going to assume that's the Z-axis being sucky. But, again, I can't blame it all on the Z-axis, because this isn't that bad of a machine from what I can tell. I'll have to take a look and see what's going on. Maybe, like, some belts got loosened or something, but it seems so, like, regular, you know? But anyways. So, how to get this nicely cut at angles. Preferably without lopping my hand off. Guess that's why they recommended the use of a file or sandpaper. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have very high grit sandpaper, so how quick is this gonna be? Probably not, right? Is this gonna be as painfully slow as I think it is? Or am I just being overly dramatic? Oh no, I can do it. I can do it. Never mind. Never mind. Not necessary. Head up, butt. Yeah, but in all reality, it's a lot easier with stronger sandpaper. I got 80 grit like the next day, and it didn't take nearly this long. Well, for as little wood as I removed, it didn't take as long to go ahead and get things nicely tapered when they needed to be. So, again, sorry for the shorter video this week. Yeah, totally new to model shipbuilding, but I'm sure I'll manage. And, well, wooden model shipbuilding, I should say. And, but yeah, working towards, getting that all nice and sorted out. Hopefully it'll progress a lot faster now that I got better sandpaper and sort of a clue as to what I'm doing. But as you see there, I did some sanding. I found I had to sand off that 10. This is the part where I glue it on and think, okay, we're good to go. And then I see something in the instructions that indicates to me maybe I should not have done that. Yeah, the instructions here are just their own kind of thing. They're not the best organized, in my opinion. But I'll keep going at it, and I'll keep, I'm sure I'll have more little things to correct here and there as I go along. But here we go, getting the front pieces there, and I'll eventually, you'll see later in this, get some better sandpaper and go ahead and shave them down to the appropriate shape, along with some of the frames. Yeah, lots of me reading and then realizing, hey, shouldn't have put that in right away. And there's me removing some glue from places it probably shouldn't be. And then finally, finding out where some of these things are supposed to go and putting them there. Now, there was a piece 14, that it was calling for that I had no idea where they were. It wasn't on the plans that I could see or anything. Eventually, I found out where it was. It was actually in the little plastic tray of parts you might have seen at the very beginning of all this that I'd set aside because it had a bunch of the metal details, including a bunch of cannons that are just, they have mold flash on them, so that's going to be fun to deal with, to say the least. But there I go, looking things over, finally deciding to glue those pieces, I guess it's called, of what's called the poop, in place. And after that bit of letting things dry, you're going to see me do a lot of sanding for the next few seconds. So you see you got that sandpaper I mentioned. Then you'll see me do a bit of work with trying to find, where to sand, how much. And eventually, one of the frames will come loose, so I have to take it off, then do some sanding, then glue it back on and do more sanding. But, y'all, that'll be talked about really briefly in this normal speed thing coming now. Alright, and now to end this little video. So, yeah, that was a lot of sanding, and a trip to the hardware store to get stronger sandpaper than I have. This is 320 grit, and that was the coarsest I had. And I needed something closer to 80 grit. Maybe I should have even gotten the 50 grit, but I'm going to use the 80 grit because I don't want to go too fast. Anyway, so I was looking for the longest time on this, thing here, is where is piece 14? It says in the instructions right here, before you glue, number 3, before you glue wood blocks, number 14, table 2, taper them in order to equally shape the profile of the frame, number 9, and the deck line, figure 6. Okay, so there is a piece labeled 14 here. It is gotta be meant to be in this kit. But where was it? Well, turns out it is not in any of these things. Okay, I was expecting it to be something here. Maybe I should have thought things over a bit. But my clues was this piece, the shape of it right here, and that it was a block, and that eventually I figured out what this whole table thing meant. So, check this out. Hey, good on you guys for having a bunch of, assembly languages, for instructions. That's actually good. It includes English, so that's good. But, the intro page is here, behind that first set of instructions. So this is where I learn all that stuff is. Okay, beechwood. I have no idea what beechwood is. Anyone good with lumber want to tell me that that's beechwood? That'd be really reassuring right about now, before I make a mistake. I don't think I am, since that was the only thing of that shape that could be 14. But still. So, alrighty. Now I found it. I was looking for these for like ever. I was thinking, what the heck? What am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? Still, you'd think they could slightly better organize these. So far, though, not a bad kit from my standpoint. But, well, me getting more done of this is going to be more of next week's dilemma. So, until then, I am Rich. This has been RMX Models. Sorry for the shorter video. Hopefully, this is a good start to a playlist. And hopefully we can get back to the Dreadnought soon. But, hey, at least after I'm done rigging this thing, rigging the Dreadnought's going to be a lot easier. Alright, so I am Rich, again, RMX Models, my YouTube channel, and I guess time for the YouTube dance of like, share, subscribe, hooray! Alright, well, peace out, hope you enjoyed.